Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to take a minute to discuss how it is that you can make incredible progress with your dog by merely reinforcing certain ways of communication right out of the starting gate, which is going to switch control and power away from the dog's ability to invest. Now, here what will happen is as you bring the relational changing script online, what you'll see is a dog trying to make up the difference or compensate. So for example, where a dog has had control over, say, the walk or certain interactions on the leash, and therefore the level of how the mind separates, how it invests, the pathway the dog will take to gain control and power through certain access points. You'll see those are all kind of like, because the dog has that level originally, has a high level of control, you won't see over investment, but you'll see a very scattered out, you'll see certainly you're going to have all sorts of problems. But what you'll find is as soon as you start to invest in the method and start to interrupt, and sever certain connection points with how a dog's mind separates and invests, what you'll see is a higher level of investment, okay, on certain things that weren't so before, to try to make up the difference. The dog is trying to seek out or gain power through certain avenues which are still open to it, or it feels like it can gain that way. And so, for example, you'll see it with a dog really trying to get its nose down, say, into the grass, as the script starts to tighten up on the dog. It loses its ability to connect that way, and so suddenly you'll say, wow, that dog is really trying to get, as soon as it goes down into the down position, is just trying to really get its nose onto that grass like fast, because that's an access point. Okay, it's like a way for the dog to escape that script. It's trying to seek out that which it can connect to that way and gain control over. So you'll see overinvestment. Now, it's same thing with dogs. Why they'll try to get out in front, okay, on the leash. They're trying to gain position, control, and so you'll see them really get more desperate when they feel that script come online. Again, within the framework of what's reasonable. Okay, talk about leadership. If you really want to get a better idea of the scripting, go watch some other videos. But as that script begins to tighten up, or the dog will try to gain control through really trying to get out in front, and usually there's a defining moment in that too. So, for example, as another dog comes out, and then suddenly your dog is really trying to get around, trying to find a way to get out in front, to gain control over that interaction, to be able to express that state towards the other dog. So there's a defining moment where you're really blocking that ability. You're almost like, for some cases, I've helped dog owners. They'll use, say, if they're outside their home, they'll bring the script online, but then use part of the wall area to corner that dog. So that dog cannot get around. Now, it's done very much. It's all controlled. It's all about technique. It's not about being overly harsh to the dog or aggressive to the dog. It's all about how you use all the methods come together to block that ability of the dog. So it's both control, but at the same time, not just moving, it's communication. It's about interrupting that state of mind. There has to be the right balance. But there is always a pivotal moment where if that dog gets beyond that, you're in trouble. Okay, it's going to be even more problematic to try to get that dog's state of mind back. So, but when you are able to meet that moment and are successful in that moment in blocking that dog's ability to gain control that way, you'll see it de-escalates everything. In fact, if a dog's close, you'll see the cackles on that other dog come down. If it's over, there's a fence separating. So there's a moment there. There's a really pivotal moment that really lends to this idea of thinking properly. So my point here in this video is to really, when you go out with your dog, there's ways to think properly. To tell yourself, for example, is there's absolutely no way my dog is getting out in front of me, period. So if you go, but because here's the point, if you go back and watch I have about 700 videos on my YouTube channel, you will not see one dog out in front of me. You will not see it. You won't see a dog's nose hitting the ground, hitting the grass. You just aren't going to see it because I think a certain way. That's like a set point. That's like locked into my psyche. So, but that's how it needs to become with you. If you're working dogs, or if you have a dog you're trying to really make some meaningful change, it's really helpful when you enter into say using the leash this way, with bringing this relational script online, is to tell yourself that one thing. Like today, that dog's nose is not going to hit the grass, period. Or my dog is not getting out in front of me. Absolutely not. And you need to lock that into your thinking. What does it makes a huge difference. In fact, the dog, at the level of them, at the relational level, they sense that. They feel that. And therefore, when you think that way, trust me, your dog is not going to even try to get out in front. I mean, it really, what it does is it offsets you having to use the method that way, because the seriousness of how you think, it just communicates through to the dog. So, but you really want to try to practice that when you're working the dog. Try to tie in that way. Try to take that way of thinking to say, there's no way that dog is getting out in front of me. I mean, there's ways to counter the dog trying to do that. There's a circle method. You're using your body to block the dog. It's very effective. Proper communication with the leash. So it's all about how you think. It's really, working the leash, working the script, making sure you don't have too much, leash length going on, so the dog will take opportunity of that. But it's really, setting your mind, getting your mind set that way. It makes a tremendous difference. And that's really the secret of dog training is thinking properly. Then things become automatic, and then you can just advance the script that way. But you really want to set your mind on, when you go out, is really saying to yourself, this is not going to happen. And it makes a huge difference with the dog. They really feel that. And then you can just move the script forward. So thanks for watching.